dig.
Yeah.
I'm
They're not
sure, but I'll show you how one.
En op Jamaica houden ze juist van dat je inderdaad dat het zo goed. Ze hebben nodig om beter te pakken, zeg. Ja. Eerst van Yellow Day.
Dat is motortje. Dat is even 200 pk. Ja, ik zie er
Good afternoon to you all. Welcome to the St. Elizabeth Safari. Welcome on board for the runnings. My name is Faye, and this afternoon I'll be your captain, your tour guide, a friend of yours, and also your crocodile Dundee. Okay? Head up us to my left, that's Crocodile Patricia lying on the wall. See the crocodiles, they're highly territorial. They have their own territory where they like to hang out. That's the way we get to name them. So whenever time I'm on the river, I know definitely where to look for a crocodile. 95% of the crocodile diet is fish. The other 5% made up of crabs, birds, frogs, turtles, whatever they can find to eat. The crocodiles are also nocturnal. They see a lot better at night. So they go hunting food during the night, then they go resting during the daytime. See, she's lying there with her mouth open. She gotta come out and lie in bunks and logs to bask in the sun. Because the sun have done two things for them. One, it warms their body temperature. Secondly, it helps them to digest their food. While lying on bunks and logs to bask in the sun, there are times when they leave their mouth open. They leave their mouth open for two reasons. One, to extract the excess heat from the body. Secondly, they haven't got any pores along the skin to sweat, so they sweat along the pores in the mouth. Right at the back of the throat there now, that's the sweat glands. It's slightly rotated up and down in order to extract the excess heat from the body of the crocodile.
Gaat hij wel dicht waarschijnlijk. Suppose you throw a piece of chicken in there.
Oh, he's gonna close it.
Yes.
Yeah. Extremely dangerous crocodile.
Ja, zijn bek gaat dicht. Zijn bek ging open.
To my left, those are the canoes that they use and go out into the Caribbean Sea to catch fishes. And the river and the sea meets just a little below the bridge down the bottom there. That's where the river meets the sea. The white birds along the trees to my right, they're all known as egrets. In Jamaica here, we say galeen. Here we have the castle egrets, the snowy egret, and also the greater egret. The castle egret is the bird that have yellow beak and yellow feet. The snowy egret is snow white, have black beak, black feet, and yellow toes. Then you have the greater egret, which have yellow beak, black feet, and a long, elegant neck. As you all can see along the trees here now to my right, that is a main roosting and nesting area for these birds. And what the crocodiles like to do, they like to hang out along the roots of the trees, that whenever the birds come on the lower limbs to drink water, they will snoop on and have them. And if any of the young ones fall from the nest into the water, the crocs will snoop on and have them as well. So right along the trees where we are here now, it's like a KFC for the crocodile. That's one of the little blue heron, that blue bird inside there. One of the little blue heron right there. This is the Black River, Jamaica's longest navigable river. This river here, it is 70 kilometers long. The depth of the water here, 5.5 to 6 meters in depth. Here in Jamaica, the town of Black River was the first town in Jamaica that got electricity and telephone and racehorse and also an automobile. We also got electricity here in Black River before New York. That's up by Waterloo Guest House. And we also have running water here in Jamaica before New York, but that is over in Falmouth in Trelawney. We got electricity here in Black River in 1883. We got telephone here in 1900. Okay?
Oh, lekker. Ja, dat wil wel.
Crocodile to my right, up front line. Crocodile Margaret. We have seen Patricia, now we've seen Margaret. The difference with the crocodiles and an alligator, the crocodiles have a longer and pointed snout, the alligators have a shorter snout and a broader head. Whenever time the crocodile closes his mouth, you can see the teeth as if he's smiling. But when the alligator closes his mouth, you see no teeth at all. Go, 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 go.
Now we have to swim?
Yep. Go, go, go,
I kind of was playing.
Precies, dat gebeurt gewoon. Ik kijk elke dag krijg je zo'n naam.
Sorry.
Dat zou leuk zijn.
go, 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 go.
Aan de andere kant.
Dan gaan ze vechten.
Zo moet je niet staan.
Lazy man, it's not coming over at all.
Nee, je moet gewoon dat ze helemaal pakken.
Oh, wat ben je toch weer, hè?
Nou, pas het niet. Beledigd. Crocodile is beledigd.
Hij heeft niks. Daarom, hè?
Hij gaat
You have nothing to eat.
dak liggen weer.
Huh?
Huh?
You don't have nothing to do.
No, haven't get any this morning at all,
So why you not tell me?
It's never
Some
stopped.
chicken or
Yeah.
whatever.
Try to get some. One of the hardest thing for getting a black rat on right about now, chicken back nowadays. As soon as I can clean up for them.
Wacht, hè.
The tall trees along the river here, these are all known as the mangrove trees. Along this river we have two species of mangroves. We have the red and the white. To my right, these are the red mangroves or the Rhizophora mantle. The red mangroves, they have large leaves, dark color, and have the aerial roots cascaded from the branches down into the water. When the root gets into the water, it goes 6 inches below the surface of the water, then the root will stop growing. Then afterwards, in the middle of the roots get hollow, then it acts like a giant straw. It sucks and sends back minerals back to the trees. Okay? The tall tree at the end here now to my right, this one is the white mangroves or the Lagangopolaria racemosa. This one has smaller leaves, paler color, and as you can see, there's no aerial roots cascaded from the branches going into the water. The tall grass-looking plant along the bank to my right, those are all known as the Phragmites communis. They're a member of our bamboo family. In Jamaica here, we call them wild king. These wild king, they're very useful to us here in this river, because that is what we use to make our shrimp trap, to catch shrimps and crayfish along this river. swimming to my left, up front. Up front to my left, another crocodile. It's Crocodile Dwayne.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do. They do. Yeah, they can hear. You see that little slit right behind the eye? That's the ears. That little slit right there behind the eye. It can also open wider than that. That's the way to keep it closed. And that little round thing at the tip
Como
of the
que
snout
pocheer,
there,
hè?
that's the nostril. They hear and they see 100%. I'm hear and smell rather. During the course of the night, they see a lot better because it's nocturnal. The darker the time is, the better they see. That's why whenever time they hear the engine coming, they tend to come out. Because they know. Yeah.
They're coming to post.
And what we do sometimes, we give them a little piece of chicken, so they come out figure more than less that they're going to get something to eat.
Okay.
But we don't feed them that often because we don't want them to depend on us for food.
Yes,
No.
It's best for them to go and fend on their own.
Yeah.
But I really run out of chicken today. I really should have some because I would get a chance to play around with these crocodiles because there are times when I lift the leg up, I pick the head up, I even give them a kiss sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
Alrighty, we're going to rock and roll and go see if we find another croc or two.
But not without chicken. You don't kiss them without it.
They do come over sometimes, but not that often. When you have chicken, you get them right to the side of the boat to play with. Sometimes without the chicken, they'll come over another time. They'll come close enough for you guys to make photos. That's it. Joining of two rivers. The Black River, which is the main stream, continues ahead of us for another 43.5 miles. The Broad River, which is Otoro, that's the saltwater river, is to my right. It goes for 13 miles. On the Broad River is where we normally find most of our crocodiles. So if I goes up the Broad River here this afternoon and I haven't found any croc, probably I'm gonna have to tie someone to the back and talk along. Tall grass looking flat to my right in the middle, those are the bulrush grass. In Jamaica here, we say Moses grass. The reason for that is because that's the grass that they used to make baby Moses in basket. But in Jamaica here, we use it to make crop items such as straw hat, mat, and basket. The little green plants to my right in the middle, those are all known as the water hyacinth. You see, back in the olden days, along the water hyacinth was a main feeding area for the sea cow. That's the manatees. But we haven't got them inside here anymore. Now along the water hyacinth is a main roosting and nesting area for shrimps and crayfish. So inside there is where we go and set our shrimp trap to catch the shrimps. Rusticum dinoflorium. In Jamaica here, we have over 500 different species of fern here. But this is one of 3 species that found along this river. Most of the other species of fern, you found them back in Fern Gully in Outer Reyes. And this species of fern only grow in brackish water. That's where the water is a mixture of salt and fresh. Okay? Those tall fine leaf trees to my left in the bushes there, those are all known as the logwood trees. You see, back in the olden days, our foreparents normally shipped those woods away to the United States and the United Kingdom for the making of indigo dye. And that dye was used for the making of ink, and it was also used in fabrics like the dye jeans and stuff like that. So that's where the indigo blue dye came from. Now they're not using it to make ink anymore. They're using it to make eyeshadow now. Okay? Over to my left, that's the Nassau Mountain. That's where you find the YS Fall. That's the waterfalls. Ahead of us in the middle, that's the Cockpit Mountain. That's where you find Appleton Estates, a rum factory. To my right on the bottom here, that's the Santa Cruz Mountain. And in the Santa Cruz Mountain is where you find our 2 colleges, the little girl high schools. We have Monroe Boys College, Bethlehem Teachers College, and Hampton, that's the all-girl high school. In the Santa Cruz Mountain is where you also find Lover's Leap. And Lover's Leap is on cliff that is a little over 1,700 feet in depth. That's roughly about 600 meters. Okay? That's an osprey eagle. Sitting in the tree there to my right. That's an osprey.
Okay. Fish eye.
Yeah. Fish eating bird. Probably there's a fish in his claw there right now. Yeah, there's a fish in his claw, he's feeding on it. That's the only bird we have here that fish with intolerant. They go skiing in the water, pick the fish up and goes up. Alrighty, we got a rock and roll.
Zie je allemaal? Je moet naar achter kijken, zodat die naar boven
Oh ja. Lekker te peuzelen.
visje.
now we're presently entering into Mangroves Avenue.
Oh yeah. Right.
Mangroves Avenue here is similar to our Bamboo Avenue. That's over by Holland Estate where the bamboo make an arch across the street. What you're seeing here now is the red mangroves making an arch across the river. You see, back in the olden days, our foreparents normally stripped the bark of these trees, boiled it, and getting a rich red color dye from it. That's the straw dye. That's what they normally use to paint the wooden floor with the wax. Then they get a dry coconut, cut it, made a brush out of it to give it a nice sheen. You see, along the root of these mangrove trees, it's a natural nursery. It's a breeding ground for fish and crab. Okay?
Mooi hoor.
Zo wat hangen.
Oh no.
Kijk eens.
As you can see along the trees here now to my right, that the body of the trees are not firm in the earth. The trees are all standing on the older aerial roots that were supporting the tree from it was younger. The trees are all like standing on tippy toes. So if we should have a strong wind or a hurricane, some of these trees that would easily topple over like that one there to my right. But just use your imagination because to me that tree that toppled over there, it's shaped just like the skeleton of a dinosaur. You can see the aerial roots as if the rib cage and stuff like that. There's a huge dark brown object to my right, to the back of the trees inside there. That's a termite nest over there. In Jamaica here, we call the termites that live in the nest their ducklings because they have one big butt and a small head and they walk on water just like a duck. And that's one species of termites the guys would not like near your home, especially if it is on board house. Because these termites, they feed on rotten wood and board. What the termites have done, they build a nest on the green trees. Then all these black lines that you see along these trees, they build those like a tunnel to go through and feed on the dry particles of the trees inside here. Okay?
Moet u denkt het zelf allemaal.
Out here is where we normally find Tom, Jerry, and Josephine, but I haven't seen any of those three crocodiles so far. The tall mangrove tree ahead of us to my right, that's the oldest mangrove tree left alive in this little area here. I call that tree the pipe organ tree or the Rasta. grow. See this grand blackbird here now to my right? That's one of the black crowned night heron. He's a crab eating bird, but he also feed on fishes. Here we call these birds the marijuana bird. Take a good look at the eye, because the eyes are red as if he just hit a gun. Yeah, man. See those little green plants and the trees there to my right that look just like some snakes? That's a species of cactus. Here we call it scar on the ground because it can only grow on trees and rocks. If it go into the soil, it's gonna die, and that's a parasitic plant, okay? Along the river here where we are, as you all can see, the water here seems very, very dark and dirty. But it is crystal clear water. It's just the soil which is at the bottom giving off its reflection. Why the water look that way? The soil which is at the bottom is the peat soil. It's made up of rotted vegetation. That soil have methane gas and hydrogen sulfide inside of it. And whenever the methane gas and the hydrogen sulfide combines together, it created something which are known as spontaneous combustion. So whenever the times get very, very hot and sunny, that would just ignite and catch a wetland area fire, and it just burns until it just die out back on its own because there's nothing we can do about it. You see, over in the wetland area here, some part of it we can walk, some part we cannot, because